I stood in the kitchen and said, "Rachel, we need to talk." She didn't look at me. "About what?" "About us," I said. "About why you barely talk to me anymore." She crossed her arms. "I'm tired, Ethan. That's all." I swallowed. "You're tired every day. So you don't touch me," I said. "You don't ask how my day was. You hide your phone." She laughed without humor. "You're really doing this?" "I'm asking because I care," I said. "Because I feel like I lost my wife." "You didn't lose anything," she snapped. "Then why do you feel so far away?" She turned and stared at me like I had insulted her. "Maybe because you're always suspicious." "I'm not suspicious," I said. "I'm confused." "Same thing," she said. I took a breath. "Are you hiding something from me?" Her eyes went cold. "Excuse me? I'm not accusing you," I said quickly. "I just feel like there's a wall between us." She stepped closer. "You think I'm cheating on you?" "I didn't say that," I said. "You're thinking it," she said. "I'm scared," I said. "That's what I'm thinking." Her hand moved so fast, I didn't see it coming. The slap landed hard against my cheek. "Don't you ever doubt me," she shouted. I stood there, stunned, my face burning. "You're disgusting," she said. "After everything I do for you." I touched my cheek. "Rachel." "Don't," she said. "Just don't." She grabbed her purse. "You hurt me," I said quietly. She laughed. "You hurt yourself." The door slammed. I stayed in the kitchen, staring at the counter. I thought I should apologize. I thought this is my fault. My phone rang. "Ethan," Jason said. "You okay?" "Yeah," I said. "Why?" "You sounded weird earlier," he said. "I'm fine," I said. "Rachel okay?" he asked. "She's mad," I said. "About what?" "Nothing," I said. There was a pause. "You sure?" Jason asked. "Yeah," I said. "If you need anything," he said, "call me." "I will," I said. We hung up. I leaned against the fridge and slid down to the floor. My cheeks still burned, but my chest hurt worse. I replayed her words. "Don't you ever doubt me." I heard the clock ticking and said, "When did we stop being honest?" The room stayed silent. Rachel walked back in and said, "Why are you still standing there?" "Because I don't understand," I said. "There's nothing to understand," she said. "You slapped me?" I said. "You deserved it," she said. "For asking a question?" "For doubting me," she said. "I'm your husband," I said. "You're allowed to trust me," she said. "We're married," I said. She shook her head. "You're exhausting." That word hurt more than the slap. "I just want to feel close again," I said. She looked away. "Sleep on the couch." "Rachel," I said. "I'm done talking," she said. I sat on the couch and stared at my phone. Jason texted, "You sure you're okay?" I typed, "Yeah, just tired." I lay down and stared at the ceiling. My cheeks still throbbed. I promised myself I'd stop asking questions. I didn't know that slap was a warning. I whispered, "I love you," even though she couldn't hear me. The house felt bigger than before. I thought about apologizing again. I told myself trust meant silence. I remembered her smile and said, "Where did you go?" My phone buzzed again. Jason texted, "Call me if you need to talk." I typed, "Thanks, man." I pressed my palm to my cheek and hated how weak I felt. I wondered why honesty hurt this much. I locked the door and said, "Tomorrow will be better." I didn't know tonight was the beginning of everything breaking. I closed my eyes and listened to my own breathing, trying to convince myself that love was still here, that doubt was wrong, and that the man I trusted most had no reason to worry. For months, I told myself nothing was wrong. I said, "You're overthinking, Ethan." Rachel would sit beside me on the couch, her phone angled away. I'd ask, "Who are you texting?" She'd say, "Work," without looking up. I'd nod and reply, "Okay." At night, I'd reach for her and she'd pull back. "Not tonight," she'd say. "Tomorrow?" I'd ask. She'd sigh. "You're always asking." I told myself stress did that to people. When she snapped over small things, I blamed myself. Did I do something wrong? I asked once. She said, "Why do you always assume that?" I laughed it off, but my chest felt tight. I'd stand in the shower and think, "She loves you." I repeated it like a rule. One night, I noticed her phone buzzing at midnight. I asked, "Should I be worried?" She said, "You're being dramatic." "I'm just asking," I said. "Stop asking," she snapped. I apologized. I always apologized. Mark noticed before I did. We sat in his car, engine off. "You look exhausted," he said. "I'm fine," I said. He glanced at me. "You don't sound fine." "It's just marriage stuff," I said. He hesitated. "Rachel acting weird?" "No," I said too fast. He frowned. "That answer tells me yes." "She's just stressed," I said. Mark said, "Ethan, trust your gut." "My gut lies," I said. "Guts don't lie," he replied. "I trust my wife," I said. He leaned back. "I hope she deserves it." "She does," I said. I didn't explain why my hands were shaking. My mom called the next day. "Rachel is such a blessing," Linda said. "She is," I replied. "You're lucky," she added. "I know," I said. "Marriage needs faith," she said. "I have faith," I told her. "Good," she said. "Don't let doubt poison you." I hung up feeling smaller. If everyone trusted Rachel, then I was the problem. I chose silence again. At home, I tried to be softer. I said, "Do you want dinner?" She said, "I'm not hungry." I said, "I can cook anyway." She said, "Don't bother." I watched her lock the bathroom door. I told myself privacy mattered. When she came out, I asked, "Everything okay?" She said, "Why wouldn't it be?" "No reason," I said. She stared at me until I looked away. Weeks passed like that. Every unanswered question stacked inside me. I told myself peace mattered more than truth. I said, if I stop asking, things will heal. One morning, Rachel rushed to the bathroom. I followed. "Are you sick?" She vomited and waved me off. "I'm fine," she said. "You don't look fine," I said. "It's nothing," she snapped. "Let me call a doctor," I said. "No," she said quickly. "I can come with you," I offered. She wiped her mouth. I said no. "Rachel," I said, "this scares me." She looked at me with anger and fear mixed together. "Stop watching me," she said. "I'm your husband," I replied. "That doesn't mean control," she said. "I just care," I said. "Then trust me," she said. I nodded again. She turned away, holding her stomach. I stood there thinking, something is wrong. Then I told myself, "You're imagining it." I chose peace again. I was folding laundry when I saw it. I said, "What is that?" Even though no one answered. The trash bag was open, and something white peeked out. I pulled it free and stared. It was a pregnancy test. My hands shook as I whispered, "No." I walked closer to the light. There was a faint second line. I said, "This isn't real." My chest tightened. I sat on the floor and kept staring. I told myself, maybe it's old. I told myself, maybe it's not hers. Rachel walked in and froze. "What are you doing?" she asked. I held it up. "Explain this." She laughed. That laugh hurt more than the slap. "You're serious?" she said. "I found it in our trash," I said. "You're imagining things," she replied. "There's a line," I said. She stepped closer. "You're paranoid." "Rachel," I said, "just tell me." She rolled her eyes. "It's nothing." "Nothing doesn't have two lines," I said. Her smile disappeared. "You don't trust me at all," she said. "I want the truth," I said. "You want control," she snapped. I lowered my voice. "Are you pregnant?" She stared at me like I disgusted her. "This is why I can't breathe around you," she said. "Answer me," I said. She grabbed her jacket. "I'm done with this," she said. "Rachel," I said, "don't walk away." She opened the door. "You need help," she said. Then she left. I stood there holding the test. I told myself, you crossed a line. I washed my hands 3 times. I threw the test away again. I waited. Hours passed. When she came back, she didn't look at me. I said, "We need to talk." She said, "Not now." "You laughed at me," I said. "You accused me," she replied. "Asked a question," I said. "Same thing," she said. She locked the bedroom door. Later that night, I heard her whispering. I stood in the hallway, frozen. She said, "He doesn't know." My stomach dropped. She paused and said, "Stop panicking." I leaned closer. "I told you," she whispered. "Be careful." There was silence. Then she said, "Jason?" My heart skipped. She said, "I'll handle it." I stepped back fast. My head spun. I told myself, "You misheard." I told myself it's coincidence. Jason was my brother. That thought stopped me cold. The next morning, Rachel grabbed her keys. "I have an appointment," she said. "With who?" I asked. "Doctor," she replied. "I'll come," I said. "No," she said quickly. "Why not?" I asked. "It's private," she said. "I'm your husband," I said. She sighed. "Dr. Susan Carter." "Why didn't you tell me?" I asked. "Because you overreact," she said. "I deserve to be there," I said. She shook her head. "Not this time." "Why are you hiding?" I asked. She pointed at me. "This." "This is marriage," I said. "This is suffocating," she replied. I watched her leave. I sat alone at the table. I replayed her words. "He doesn't know." I replayed the name. Jason. I laughed once. Sharp and empty. "That's crazy," I said. I texted Jason. "You busy?" He replied late. "At work." I stared at the screen. I didn't ask more. I didn't want answers yet. That night, Rachel said, "The doctor visit went fine." "What did she say?" I asked. "She said I'm stressed," Rachel replied. "That's it?" I asked. "That's enough," she said. I nodded. I felt like a stranger in my own house. I lay awake and whispered, "What are you doing to me?" She didn't respond. I realized I wasn't part of this anymore. Whatever was happening, I was on the outside. I met Jason at a coffee shop and said, "I need to ask you something." He stared into his cup. "What's up?" "You've been weird lately," I said. "I'm busy," he replied. "You won't look at me," I said. He shrugged. "You're imagining it. That's what Rachel says," I replied. He flinched. I leaned forward. "Is something going on?" "No," he said too fast. "You sure?" I asked. He nodded. "Yeah." "Then why do you sound nervous?" I asked. "I'm not," he said. "You're my brother," I said. "Talk to me." He finally looked up. "You're reading too much into things." "About Rachel?" I asked. He tightened his jaw. "Leave her out of this." "That's not an answer," I said. "She's your wife," he snapped. "And you're my brother," I said. He stood. "I gotta go." "Jason," I said, "don't walk away." He paused. "Trust your marriage." Then he left. I sat there alone and said, "Am I losing my mind?" I replayed his face, his tone, his silence. I told myself, "You're paranoid." I told myself, "Everyone says you are." At work, Emily noticed. She said, "You okay?" "I'm fine," I replied. She tilted her head. "You've said that all week." I sighed. "Things are complicated. You don't have to explain," she said. "I feel crazy," I admitted. She nodded. "That feeling doesn't come from nowhere." I looked at her. "What if I'm wrong?" "Then you'll survive," she said. "And if I'm right?" I asked. "Then you'll survive," she repeated. That helped more than advice. At home, Rachel barely spoke. I said, "Dinner's ready." She replied, "I already ate." "When?" I asked. "Earlier," she said. "With who?" She stared. "Why does it matter?" "I just asked," I said. She walked past me. Later I said, "Can we talk?" She sighed. "About what now?" "Us," I said. She laughed. "There is no us lately." "That hurts," I said. She shrugged. "That's life." I moved to the couch that night. She didn't stop me. The couch smelled like detergent and distance. I stared at the ceiling and whispered, "What happened?" I remembered Jason's silence. I remembered Emily's calm voice. I remembered Rachel's cold eyes. I asked myself, when did love turn into defense? I checked my phone. No messages. I typed one to Jason, then deleted it. I typed one to Rachel, then stopped. I felt like a guest in my own life. The next day, Rachel said, "You can stay out here." I replied, "I know." "Good," she said. That word landed hard. I said, "Do you even miss me?" She said, "I miss peace." "I can be peaceful," I said. She shook her head. "You don't know how." I sat down again. That night, I lay awake listening to her move around the bedroom. I thought about knocking. I thought about begging. I didn't do either. I said into the dark, "I don't recognize us." No one answered. I realized silence had become normal. My mom called and said, "Ethan, why didn't you tell me?" "Tell you what?" I asked. She hesitated. "About the baby." My heart stopped. "What baby?" There was a pause. "Rachel's pregnancy," Linda said softly. I gripped the phone. "She's not pregnant." "Oh," my mom said. "I thought you knew." "Knew what?" I asked. "She's been sick," Linda said. "Jason's been helping her a lot." The room tilted. "Helping her how?" I asked. Linda sighed. "Running errands. Taking her places." I couldn't breathe. "Why would Jason do that?" "She said you were busy," Linda replied. I hung up without saying goodbye. Rachel walked in an hour later. I said, "Are you pregnant?" She froze. "You talked to your mother," she said. "Answer me," I said. She sat down slowly. "I didn't want you to find out like this," she said. "So it's true," I said. "Yes," she replied. "Is it mine?" I asked. She looked away. "That's not an answer," I said. She started crying, but her voice stayed sharp. "You were never there," she said. "I was right here," I said. "Not emotionally," she snapped. "So, whose baby is it?" I asked. She whispered, "Jason's." The word hit like glass. I laughed once. "Say that again." "He understood me," she said. "He's my brother," I said. "You pushed me away," she replied. "I asked questions," I said. "You made me feel alone," she said. "I trusted you," I said. "That was your choice," she replied. I felt something tear inside me. "So you slept with him?" I said. She nodded. "And you slapped me for doubting you," I said. She looked down. "You accused me. You lied to me," I said. "You didn't listen," she shouted. "I begged you to talk," I said. "You suffocated me," she replied. I stood up. "Get Jason here." "No," she said. "Now," I said. She texted him. Jason arrived and wouldn't meet my eyes. I said, "Say it." He swallowed. "It just happened." "You're my brother," I said. "I didn't plan it," he said. "You betrayed me," I said. He shook his head. "You weren't happy." "That wasn't your call," I said. Rachel said, "Stop blaming him." "Stop defending him," I replied. Jason said, "I never meant to hurt you." "You destroyed me," I said. Rachel stood. "This isn't all his fault. You both did this," I said. Jason whispered, "I'm sorry." "That doesn't fix anything," I said. Rachel cried harder. "I needed comfort," she said. "You needed honesty," I replied. She wiped her face. "I don't regret the baby." That broke me. "So I mean nothing," I said. "You were my husband," she said. "And now?" I asked. She didn't answer. I felt humiliated standing between them. My wife. My brother. I said, "How long?" Rachel said, "Months." I asked Jason, "Every family dinner?" He stayed silent. "Every time you checked on me?" I asked. He nodded once. I laughed again, bitter and loud. "I trusted you both," I said. Rachel said, "Trust doesn't mean control. Love doesn't mean betrayal," I said. Jason said, "I'll take responsibility." "For what?" I asked. For the baby, he replied. And my life? I asked. He said nothing. I walked to the door. Rachel said, Where are you going? To breathe, I said. You can't leave, she said. You already left, I replied. Jason said, Ethan? Don't, I said. I stepped outside and felt the cold hit my face. My hands shook. I said out loud, I was never crazy. I felt rage, shame, and grief twist together. The two people I trusted most had chosen each other. I realized love hadn't failed me. People did. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I just said, I'm leaving. Rachel blinked. For how long? I don't know, I said. You can't just walk out, she replied. I already did, I said. Jason opened his mouth. I raised my hand. Don't, Rachel said. You're being dramatic. I'm being quiet, I said. She waited for more. There was nothing. I packed a bag, slowly. Rachel stood in the doorway. Aren't you going to fight for us? She asked. I folded a shirt. Us already fought. She crossed her arms. So that's it. I zipped the bag. Yes. You're really doing this, she said. I'm finally doing something, I replied. She laughed. You'll regret it. I looked at her. I already did. Mark answered on the second ring. Can I come over? I asked. Say less, he replied. When I arrived, he hugged me without questions. I said, I don't trust myself. He said, then lean on me. We sat in silence. Finally, he said, lawyer. I nodded. He said, I know a good one. Lucas Grant shook my hand and said, tell me everything. I said, my wife is pregnant with my brother's child. He paused. I'm sorry. I don't want revenge, I said. Good, he replied. That helps your case. I just want peace, I said. Then we move clean, he said. What does that mean? I asked. No drama, he said. Let facts speak. I exhaled. That sounds right. Rachel texted me that night. We need to talk. I replied, there's nothing left to say. You're giving up, she wrote. I typed, I'm choosing myself. She didn't respond. Pastor Michael Hayes listened quietly. I said, I want them to hurt like I do. That's human, he said. I also want to walk away, I said. That's strength, he replied. Which one makes me a better man? I asked. He smiled sadly. The one you can live with. I don't want to be bitter, I said. Then don't let anger drive, he replied. I feel weak, I admitted. Restraint feels weak before it feels powerful, he said. Rachel showed up 2 days later. She said, You're really serious. Yes, I replied. You're not even angry, she said. I am, I said. Then show it, she challenged. No, I replied. She scoffed. You always avoid conflict. I avoid destruction, I said. You're running, she said. I'm healing, I replied. She stared at me like she didn't recognize me. Jason texted, I want to explain. I replied, there's nothing left to explain. I'm still your brother, he wrote. I stared at the screen. I typed, not like before. At night, I lay on Mark's couch. I stared at the ceiling. I felt pain without chaos. I felt grief without shouting. I said quietly, I didn't deserve that. No one argued. The next morning, I signed papers. Lucas said, This protects you. I nodded. Rachel called again. You're really not coming back, she said. No, I replied. What about forgiveness? She asked. I can forgive, I said. From a distance. She cried. I stayed silent. I realized something then. Walking away wasn't loud. It didn't feel powerful. It felt lonely and steady. But for the first time, I wasn't begging for love. I was standing inside my own skin. And that was enough. Rachel moved in with Jason a week after I left. Mark told me. He said, they're playing house. I replied, good for them. I didn't mean it. Jason texted once. We're happy. I hope you're okay. I stared at the message and said, liar. Out loud. I didn't reply. At work, Emily asked. How are you holding up? I'm breathing, I said. She smiled gently. That counts. I don't want pity, I said. I'm not giving pity, she replied. I'm listening. That mattered. The divorce moved quietly. Lucas called and said, she's not contesting anything. That figures, I said. Assets are clean, he added. I don't want anything extra, I said. You're sure? Yes, I replied. I just want out.
He paused.
That's rare. Weeks passed. Then Mark called again. You hear about Jason? He asked. No, I said. He got laid off, Mark said. I closed my eyes. That's rough. Rachel's freaking out, he added. I said nothing. Mark said, she called you selfish. I laughed once. Of course she did. I ran into Rachel at the grocery store. She looked tired. She said, you look calm. I am, I replied.
She scoffed.
Must be nice. You chose this, I said. She crossed her arms. Jason's under pressure. So was I said. That's different, she snapped. I nodded. That's what you always said. She looked away. Later, Jason cornered me outside. He said, you enjoying this? I'm not watching, I replied. You always judge me, he said. I'm not judging, I said. I'm done. Rachel yelled from the car. Jason, let's go. He muttered, she's always angry. I raised an eyebrow. He saw it and snapped. Don't. I said, now you understand. They drove off in silence. Emily listened when I told her. She said, does it hurt less? It hurts differently, I said. That's progress, she replied. I don't feel strong, I admitted. You don't have to feel it, she said. You're doing it. Another month passed. Mark texted, they fight a lot. I typed, I'm not surprised. He replied, she treats him the way she treated you. I stared at the message. I felt sadness, not satisfaction. Rachel called one night. Jason won't listen, she said. I'm not the person to call, I replied. You used to understand me, she said. I used to disappear for you, I said. She went quiet. I'm pregnant and alone, she whispered. You're not alone, I said. You made choices. She cried. I ended the call gently. The divorce finalized without drama. Lucas said, you handled this well. I survived, I said. That's more than some, he replied. Jason lost his apartment. Rachel moved back with my mother. Linda called and said, I'm disappointed in all of this. I am too, I replied. She said, you don't sound angry. I said. I'm tired now. Emily and I walked during lunch breaks. She said, you're lighter. I stopped carrying lies, I said. She smiled. That helps. We never crossed a line. We didn't need to. One night, I sat alone and thought about revenge. I thought about justice. I thought about silence. Silence won. Karma didn't strike fast. It didn't need to. It worked slowly, quietly, honestly. I healed the same way. No applause. No victory speech. Just steady breathing and less pain each day. I realized something important. Watching them fall apart didn't fix me. Walking away did. Rachel knocked on my door just after sunset. I opened it and said, what do you want? She looked smaller, tired, pregnant, and scared. I need to talk, she said. I stepped aside. 5 minutes. She walked in slowly. I didn't think you'd let me, she said. I didn't say you could stay, I replied. She sat on the couch and rubbed her stomach. I messed up, she said. I stayed quiet. She swallowed. Jason left. I nodded. He couldn't handle the pressure, she added. I said, neither could I. She flinched. I know, she said. That's why I'm here. I crossed my arms. I made a mistake, she said. I replied, you made a choice. She shook her head. I was confused. You were dishonest, I said. She wiped her eyes. I want stability again. I asked, with me? She nodded. You were always steady. I let out a slow breath. That wasn't enough then, I said. She leaned forward. I see it now. I saw it first, I replied. She whispered, I'm sorry. I believed she meant it. I still said nothing. I hurt you, she said. Yes, I replied. I destroyed us, she added. Yes, I said again. She looked at me, waiting for anger. I didn't give it. You don't hate me, she said. I don't, I replied. That surprised her more than yelling. I forgive you, I said. Her shoulders dropped. But I won't take you back, I continued. Her face crumpled. Why? She asked. Because forgiveness isn't permission, I said. She cried quietly. I have nowhere else, she said. I know, I replied. She stood up slowly. I thought you'd fight for me, she said. I fought when it mattered, I said. She looked around my apartment. You seem different, she said. I am, I replied. Stronger? She asked. Clearer, I said. She nodded through tears. I ruined a good man, she said. That was your lesson, I replied. She walked to the door. I hope you're happy, she said. I'm learning, I replied. She hesitated. Take care of yourself, she said. I am, I said. She left without looking back. I locked the door and leaned against it. My heart hurt, but it wasn't broken anymore. I whispered, goodbye. Not to her.
To the version of me that begged.
I sat down and felt the quiet settle. No chaos. No shouting. Just space. I realized power didn't come from winning her back. It came from letting go. I felt sad. I also felt free. I stood in my new apartment and said, this is mine. No one answered, and that felt right. I set my keys down and looked around. The place was quiet. Not empty. Quiet. Mark called and said, You settling in? Yeah, I replied. You sound different, he said. I feel different, I said. Good different. Calm, I answered.
He laughed.
You earned that. Emily texted, proud of you. I replied, I'm learning how to be. She sent back a smile. That was enough. I sat on the floor and said out loud, You survived. I thought about the slap. I thought about the lies. I thought about my brother's silence. None of it owned me anymore. I whispered, Betrayal didn't break me. I stood up and finished the sentence. It rebuilt me. I remembered begging for honesty. I remembered apologizing for asking questions. I said, Never again. The walls didn't argue. Rachel's voice lived in my memory. You're exhausting. I shook my head and said, No. I had been patient. I had been loyal. I had been quiet. I learned something important. Love without respect is a prison. I had been locked inside it for years. My phone buzzed. It was my mom. I hope you're okay, Linda said. I am, I replied. You don't sound angry, she said. I'm not, I told her. I'm free. She paused. That matters. I opened a window and let air in. I said, This is peace. It didn't feel dramatic. It felt steady. I didn't win her back. I didn't destroy anyone. I didn't need revenge. Justice didn't arrive loudly. It arrived quietly over time. In space. In sleep. In breath. I sat on the couch and smiled once. Not because I was happy. Because I was whole. I said, I'm done carrying their choices. I stood up straighter. I looked forward, not back. I lost a wife. I lost a brother. I found myself. I turned off the light and said, Tomorrow is mine.